Hello everybody and welcome to Mr. Stansfield's education videos. Today we're looking at pixels. What are pixels? Pixels are the fundamental building blocks of digital photography. So a digital image like this, if we zoom in Photoshop, the shortcut key to zoom in, by the way, if we go to View, we can see here that the shortcut key is on a Mac, Command plus, and on a PC it should be Control plus. So Command and Control are kind of synonymous between Mac and PC. So here we've got a selfie, and if we zoom way in here, we can see that the fundamental building blocks are single color squares. Each of these is a pixel. This is how digital photography is comprised. This is a raster-based system. R-A-S-T-O-R. Boy, is that right? No, it is not. Quick Google search says it is R-A-S-T-E-R. Raster-based system is made up of pixels. A vector-based system is what you find in things like Adobe Illustrator, where it is actually math-based. Your image is comprised of relative size to different aspects of your image. This particular image here, if we go to image size, image size, or Command Option I, or Control Alt I believe on a Mac, on a PC. If we go here, we can see that the dimensions are 2,448 pixels by 3,264. And if we multiply those two numbers, right, if we take our calculator out here and we plug those numbers in, we have 2,448 times 3,264. What we find is that number is 7,990,000 and some change. 7.9, or let's just round up to 8. 8 million pixels in this image. So if we zoom out here, there are 8 million tiny squares of color that make up this photo. And you may have heard megapixels describing like camera quality. Well, what that's describing is actually your width times height on your image sensor, how many pixels your image sensor on your digital camera has. In this case, this would be an 8 megapixel image because of those numbers that we just looked at, right? If we go to image size, 2,448 times 3,264 is 7.9 million, 8 million, roughly 8 million. So there are 8 million little pixels in this image. Well, let's play around with this a little bit. What I would like to do here is, using the image size window, let's actually start to bring this down and start to really look at how this image can be kind of made to look more pixelated. Not usually our goal with digital photography. In fact, this would be probably the last time I ask you to do this. But let's go ahead and take this image size here, and let's change the unit to pixels. All right, so the same numbers we see up here, 2,448 by 3,264. And let's just go ahead and plug in like 300. Right. Now you'll notice that this number also changes. And that's because I have this box checked right here. And this box right here will either constrain or not constrain the aspect ratio. So if we click it, those little lines go away, and it will not constrain. We generally, almost always, want to constrain the aspect ratio so that when we change one dimension, we change the other. So what did I say, 300, I think? So let's just see what that looks like. Now, resolution, pixels per inch, is important most of the time. Today, leave it at whatever it is. And in terms of resampling, automatic works just fine. We're going to click OK. Now, this photo got a lot smaller on the screen. How do we resolve that? We use the zoom tool. So Command plus is our shortcut key. And you're starting to see that that doesn't look quite as sharp as we'd like. But you can still tell it's me pretty clearly. Not a problem in terms of readability. So let's go ahead and take this here again. Command Option I is the shortcut key for the image size, or it's from the menu image size. Let's take that down to 100. All right, so we're going to plug in 100 pixels on the short side. Now, if you've got a horizontal photo, okay, then your height is going to be the smaller number. So on the short side, I mean the smaller number here, the smaller number. Let's change that to 100. See what happens. And again, let's zoom in a little bit. Okay, we're starting to see those pixels. Now we're talking. Now, on this particular setting, you can see that there are little white lines in between the pixels, but that can actually change if you go here to View and then Extras. That'll go away. I actually like this look a little bit better. So now we're getting into some interesting space. We can start to see the pixels. We can also still tell that there is a man with big glasses and a mustache and a bow tie. So there's sort of this liminal space between readability and total illegibility in terms of what the image is communicating. Let's go further. Image size. Let's go ahead and half this again. Let's go to 50. Click OK. All right, and zoom in a little bit. Still very pixelated. Let's try 20 and see what happens. Okay. Here we go. Let's zoom in. All right, now we just have real blocks of color. Let's go to 10, see what happens. Let's go to 5, see what happens. Let's go to 1, see what happens. There you go. In a sense, this single pixel is the color, average color, I should say, of that image. And here are a couple of shortcuts in Photoshop, right? How do we undo something? Command Z. Right, so we can go back and see here's a smaller average of color. Command Z again, we'll go back. So in order to step backwards, we actually have to hold Command Option Z. Again, I'm on a Mac. When I say Command, the equivalent for a PC is Control. When I say Option, the equivalent, I believe, is Alt. So Control Alt Z on a PC, Command Option Z on a Mac. Back again. You can zoom out a little. Back again. And here's the original photo. So what do we take from this? Well, this, I think, is illustrative of the way that images are built. And I think if we take it the other direction, what we can do is say that mostly we want to be really aware that we have enough pixels for our image to look continuous. In other words, that we don't see them, and we have enough pixels so that we don't see them, whatever our output is. And this is something that I really want you to consider throughout the rest of this class. Do I have enough resolution? Do I have enough pixels to show the image to appear contiguous or continuous without seeing pixelation or seeing pixels happen? Okay? Now, I want you to do a little exercise. Take a selfie, all right? And whatever your original image size is, make a note of it, right? Again, we go to image size, we can see 2448 by 3264, write that number down. And then we'll do exactly what I just did and resize. Let's start at 100. I think that's actually probably a good place to start. Everything else is probably not going to be quite pixelated enough for this exercise. So let's start here at 100. Now the image gets much smaller. We went from 2,500 roughly to 100. It's a significant decrease, but let's go ahead and zoom in a little bit and you can start to see those pixels happening. All right, save that, all right? Make sure you make a note of the pixel size. In this case, it's 100 by 133. And then we're gonna do that again. So image size, let's half it again. Let's go to 50 and make a note, 50 by 67. Save that, same thing. We'll do it again, go to 20. 20 by 27, okay, save that. Image size, 10. In this case, it's 10 by 14, click OK. And then 5 by 7, and then 1. Maybe 2. Let's do 2. I actually like 2. This is a really interesting representation of the original picture. Is it the same picture? It is. That's what's kind of, I think, interesting. There's something conceptual here about this, working with pixels. And then we'll do a 1. Okay. So again, start with the original picture, pixel dimensions, write those down. Go down to 100 on the short side, 50, 20, 10, 5, 2, and then 1 on the short side. And here you go. This is what you should end up with, something like this, right? It's fine if you have a horizontal photo, you just have to make sure that those dimensions are kind of shifted. Make a note of the pixel size, the pixel dimensions for each image, save it, okay? Now, I didn't do this, but let's talk about how to save in Photoshop and how to save iterations in Photoshop. All right, here's our original image. So once we do our 100, right, File, Save As. Now this is a really important process, actually. You never want to save something in Photoshop. You always want to save as. All right. Now in this case, I'm working on a computer where I actually don't have Google Drive or my Dropbox attached to it, but if you have either of those or iCloud, you should have an organizational system on your computer so that when you get to this dialog box, I always like to click this little down caret so I can see all of the information. You don't want to have a bunch of random pictures on your desktop, right? It's really important to stay organized with your digital asset management or your workflow within Photoshop and photography. So in this case, again, I don't have that, but what you should have is a Google Drive or a Dropbox folder with your Massasoit Photoshop class. And then you, in fact, let's go ahead. I'm going to do this on my desktop. Again, this is not how you should be doing it. It should be either if you've got a hard drive, in that hard drive, or perhaps in a Dropbox or iCloud or Google Drive. So we're going to go ahead down here to New Folder. All right, and then I'll call it Massasoit Photoshop class. All right, and then for each project, I would recommend a subfolder. So in the Massasoit Photoshop class, new folder, we're just going to call this Pixel Variations. Okay, and then go ahead and rename the file. In this case, I want you to name the file with your last name, underscore, first name, underscore, and then the assignment. So this is Pixel Variations. Now, you might notice I'm adding an underscore. There are no spaces in this file name. And this is kind of an old school thing. I would say just about every contemporary computer for the last decade has figured out how to handle spaces, but there was a time when having a space in your file name could corrupt it. And so this is a little bit of an old school thing. It is something I think that doesn't hurt to do, right? But I suppose isn't necessary. Stansfield, oops, spell your name correctly. Double check. Stansfield, Jesse, Pixel Variations, and then I'm going to say -100 px. Right? The format is JPEG in this case. Sometimes we'll save it as a Photoshop file. In this case, save it as a JPEG. You can embed the color profile. We'll talk about color profiles later. Click Save. Now, you get a second option here, JPEG options. Generally, we're going to choose maximum pretty much every time. So we're going to click OK. And then one more time, we're going to go 50. OK. File, Save As. Now, if I hit Save, I would just save over the file that I just saved. So I wouldn't have that 100 pixel iteration anymore. So I always Save As. And then we're going to make this a little easier here. We can click on the file name. It's going to load. And then what I can do is just sub in this 100 pixels for 50 pixels. Pixel Variations, I'm in the right folder. Or JPEG, we can click Save. Say OK. And then we're going to go again. Change this to 20 pixels. And then File, Save As. Now, if you're like me, you want to make things more efficient, you may notice that the File, Save As has a shortcut key as well. It's Shift Command S on a Mac, or in this case, if you're on a PC, it should be Shift Control S. So if you hold those Shift and Control down and then press S, you can get to the Save As. So you might notice that I don't go to the menu from now on. I'm just going to hit Shift Command S. These shortcut keys are indispensable for becoming more efficient with digital editing. All right, so it's 20 pixels. Okay. Image size, Command Option I. I'm doing this really quickly now. 10 pixels, file save as, change this to 10, enter, enter, image size 5, enter, Shift Command S, 5, okay, and then so on and so forth. So image size, we're going to go 2, file save as is Shift Command S, we're going to go 2 pixels, we're still in the right folder, click OK, and then finally image size 1. Now, you might notice I can't actually see the image, right? It's this tiny little speck right here because I haven't zoomed in yet. And we're going to save this as 1 pixel. So that's what I want you to do. It's there, right? If I hit Command plus, there it is. Okay. There we go. So that's going to be one kind of look into pixelation. We're going to actually do it a little bit of a different way. Or we're going to look at the way pixels look through a filter. All right, and so what we're going to do is go back to our original image. Now, let me introduce you to the History panel. So if you go here to Window and then History, this should pop up over here in the right-hand corner. Okay? And you can see that I have all of these history states, and I can step backward by clicking on one of them. I can click here. I don't want to click on this box. This is actually the history brush, which is a helpful tool, but not one that we need to worry about. We're going to go back to Open, and then Command 0 will fit the image to the size of the screen. I can go ahead and click that to get rid of my history panel. That's one way to go backwards, though, is to use the history panel. All right. Now, if you took those pixelated images that we just made and tried to do something with them, they're not going to look how they looked in Photoshop. You're not going to be able to see those squares. And that's because of the way that JPEGs are saved. All right. We'll come back to that in a second, but let's go ahead and go here to Filter, Pixelate, and then we're going to use the Mosaic filter. And if I drag that over there, this little slider, this cell size, we can actually drag to make the image appear pixelated without changing the image size. And you'll see the difference between the two when we compare them. So in this case, I think depending on the size of your photo, you're going to choose a different number, depending on the original size of your photo. In this case, you know, for me, I'm looking for something that's pixelated where I can see the squares and I can also kind of recognize the, you know, there's a person with glasses, mustache, and a bow tie, right? There's sort of these kind of aspects of information that we want to be retained, and then we want to kind of see these pixels. So yeah, somewhere around here is okay. All right. Now, if we go to image size, the image size hasn't changed. It's still 2,448 by 3,264. So if we zoom in, let's go ahead and do that. Well, let's go ahead and hit View and see the extras again. Look at that. So there are all those pixels. All right. Each one of these squares is made up of a bunch of pixels. I'm not even going to count. It's you know, it's hundreds of pixels in each square. But it's the appearance of pixelation that happens here. Let's go ahead and save as again. And this time what we're going to do is let's make a new subfolder here in the pixel variations, and then we're going to make a new folder, Mosaic. There it is. All right. And what we're going to do is Stansfield Jesse pixel variations. Let's call this Mosaic _ Mosaic, and then the number I think was 42, but I'm not sure that really matters. I'm just going to say 1, and then what we're going to do is keep on filtering this down. So we're going to go Filter, Pixelate, Mosaic, and we're going to do this again. And yeah, roughly double. Seems like pretty good. Save as, and so on. So we're just going to go 1, 2, and then image size hasn't changed. And then we're going to do it again. Filter, Pixelate, Mosaic, and so on. Let's double this number, so it was like maybe 160-ish. That looks good. Interesting. paths. Mosaic 3. Oops, so I hit Mosaic 12 last time. I can rename that later. All right, and then one more time. Let's go to View. I'm sorry, Filter. Pixelate Mosaic. Let's go all the way to 200. That's going to be the most that it's going to allow us to do. All right, and then we'll save as Mosaic 4. Oops, we've got JPEG. So there's a couple of things that I was doing kind of in a rush there. Let's go ahead and save that, and let's actually get into that folder and edit it. So here we go, Master Photoshop, Pixelations, Mosaic. Let's actually, all right, so this is 1.jpg, 3. Ooh, not .jpg. So, okay, this is oh man, all kinds of things happening here. Let's go ahead and rename. You can right click and rename, and we actually want .jpg. So this is really important to have that file extension at the end of the file. So this is 2.jpg. If you didn't have that, it could be a problem. So there you go. So this is what I want you to do. I want you to take a selfie, take a self-portrait, take a portrait of yourself, and I want you to take the original image, which is not actually in this folder, right? I opened this from the desktop. But I want you to have that original image as well. And then looking through here, we want to, ooh, all right, this is great. This is, you can see that when you save it as a JPEG, when you do your resizing, strange things happen. Which is great. We'll talk more about that in class. But this is what I want you to do. All right, do variations of resizing. Start with 100, 50, 20, 10, 5, 2, and 1. And then use the Mosaic filter to do 3, 4, let's say 4 variations. The fourth should be the maximum. The first should look something like that, you know, example, and then 2 that are kind of in between. All right. And bring those to class, and we'll discuss kind of what to do with them next after the fact.